Hi, I'm Subu bringing crafting to you, and today we're going to make a Dormarama card using the Box of Sunshine paper pumpkin kit and birds in branches. So first of all, I'm going to have a card base with the sunshine on, and I'm just going to cut that just down the score line to start with. So that measures, so it's their standard card base, which measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm just going to cut it right down the score line. That's it. So just down the score line. So that will measure 4.25. So make sure you've got it exactly 4.25, and going to cut that off. So we're going to start working on the plain piece first, and we're going to add a bit of colour to this. So I'm going to be using Mango Melody, Daffodil Delight and Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to start off with my Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to start rubbing in a little bit from the corners. I'm just going to go in at the corners, keep it moving a bit. Go in from the other corners, and then starting in this corner, and then I'm going to do the other corner. Coming in, so it's slightly darker in the corners, coming in. I'm just going to take that down the edges as well, so I'm making sure all of my edges, just going to get a bit more colour in there. And then at the top. Okay, now I'm going to use a different corner. I've got one of these Ranger. This is like very soft sponge. So I've finished with my Daffodil Delight for the moment, and I'm going to come in with my Mango Melody now. I'm going to use a different corner and pick up some of my Mango Melody. I'm going to just take a little bit off there. I'm just going to Melody going in there, and then to finish it off I'm going to use another corner, and I'm going to take in the Granny Apple Green now. So I'm going to use a different corner of it, and let's put some out there, and now I want some green coming in here. More green coming in, so I want a bit more. I want it a bit heavier, the green in the centre, and coming round to the outside. So I'm going to actually risk that, and I'm going to start to swirl it in a bit more. Pat it in, go around there. Those green bits on there, and hoping it's going to give me the effect I want. Okay, so that's more or less what my background piece looks like so far. And then I'm going to use my die for the birds in branches, and I'm going to place that so that it's even on either side, but I'm just putting it a little bit more to the top than I'm leaving the bigger gap at the bottom. So I'm just going to get hold of my plates to pop it on. So let's pop this on here and make sure I've got my positioning right. So that's about right. And then I'm running that through my die cutting machine. So, oops, moved it when I put it on here. Let's just check it again on here. Hopefully that's about in the middle. Putting that through a die cutting machine. Right. So I should, there we go. And I could save that for something later. But now can you see that where I did the green, I'm getting the green to have come round my branches, and my swirls more of my sunsetty colours to be on the outside. Right, let me just put my die cutting machine a bit further out of my way so I've got some workspace. Right, this is still a little bit damp, so I'm just going to move that out of the way and bring in my trimmer and scoreboard once again. So this time I'm going to score, so I'm going to score on my sunset, and I need to score at 1/2 inch, so I'm going to take that to 1/2 inch. Make sure you're doing it with your scoring and your 1 inch. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same at the other side. Now I'm just a little bit worried about that, just make sure, yes, that's just fits. And then do the same on the other side. So I've spun that round because your little increments are easier to do on this. So I'm doing it at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Okay, and then we're going to go to this piece. This piece we're going to do exactly the same. So this is on the we're putting the excuse me, 5.5 inch one that we're putting in, and I'm just going to do the 1/2 inch and the 1 inch. Okay, and spin it round again, and that's going to be 1/2 inch and 1 inch. So I've done that on all of the pieces now, so let's pop that out of the way. So I'm just going to fold these back and back and back. I think that again, fold these back and back, so that will just give it a lot of movement. Okay, so it's coming back on itself, and it's going to sit like this now, so it just gives it that nice crease. And then we'll fold these the other way now, so that we can get that nice bend. So really I've creased them both ways to get that pliability. So before we stick these together, so they will be stuck together like this, just sticking the two outer parts together, and then our card will pop into a rectangle like that. So I'm going to move that away for the minute. Now remember the other day when I cut out using the sun, I'm now going to use that so that it doesn't cover up all the gold. So I'm going to put my sun in place now. So just put this round. Whoops. So I'm going to see where that fits best, trying to get it even with the gold around the sun. Okay, something like that. There we go, so I've got a nice sunset going off in there. Now I'm just going to keep looking at positioning because I'm going to do a bird's nest. So I'm going to pop a bird's nest. So I'm going to get some of my early espresso. Now let's see if this is big enough for the bird's nest. Let's see. Now this was a piece I cut off the other day and doesn't quite fit. So I'm going to get some Whisper White, I think. So I'll get some Whisper White to put that on because there's not quite enough left. So let me see. I've got a piece of white that's big enough. That looks about right. Yeah, so I'm going to pop that on there. So I'll pop this to one side because I might pop some birds on there. So we're going to do a bird's nest, and this is the early espresso. So I'm going to do the bird's nest, and I put it on diagonally because my block is not quite big enough, so I'm just going to put it on diagonally and then put that down like that. There we go. Oops, what happened there? So I'm just going to see if I can put that exactly back in place. I need to be over that to do it, and that was because I was not doing on my sponge surface. Now see that I've managed, because it's photopolymer, you're able to go back in over that, and I was able to go back in there. So I'm going to clean up that. So for my photopolymers I have my chamois that I keep wet, and then we're going to clean that up out of the way. And then I'm going to do some birds. So we'll get our birds, and what bird have I got? So I want to put the nest back. There we go. And I'm going to use one of these birds. It looks as though there's just room on that piece. So I'll pop a bird this way, and I'm going to do it on my, as I've told you before, this is cushioned underneath here because I've got a protective layer underneath here that is spongy, and photopolymer need that cushion. I have ordered some proper stamping mats. They are coming. What have I done with my cleaning? There we go, I've put it to the right of me. So let's clean that up. And then I always like to have two birds that face each other, and they've given you two birds in the pack to face each other. So I'm going to use the other one now, and the bit of paper that I'd got left from another card. I'm now going to put it on this one. So again, I'm going to do it in the early espresso. There we go. And just make sure I've got him there. There we go. I mean, you can get away with it most of the time, like I did just then. I've got away with doing it on this mat. But you are better to have that cushioned surface because it doesn't always work. So this is the birds and branches and the birds and branches dies. So they cut out the bird's nest, and also they cut out both birds. So I'm going to put my dies on my birds. I'm just going to put my machine back up. I would have done this just in the mini. I love my mini to bits, but because I've had it out to cut the this circle out with the foliage on, I want to, I'll carry on using it. It's no point in getting the mini out just for the sake of it, so I'll do this. Right, I'm cleaning off the bits that came off that one. And in we go. So I want my bird's nest. And I'm just think I'm going to get a little bit of washi actually to place on, because I'm going to place all in at the same time. So I will make sure that they stay in place. So let's see if I've got some on my other machine. Yeah, I've got plenty on my mini, so I'll just pinch some off my mini machine. So here we go. So the first bird that we've got in here, going to make sure I've got him okay and stick him down. Then my bird's nest. Let's just make sure the die's in the right place. I'll stick that down, and then my last bird. So I'm going to stick my bird down, put my plate on top, and then run it through. Okay. There we go. I'll just move these. In fact, I'll just pop this on the floor now. I'll not put it to collapse it like I did, because I needed it and I might need it again in a minute. So I'm going to get my birds out. Now I'm going to put a little bit of colour on my birds. So I'm going to colour my birds with Daffodil Delight. So just pop my sticky tape out of the way. Need to just pop my dies back in so I don't lose them. I want that, and pop those in there just a minute so that we can carry on. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back in focus now and bring my mat back in, and here's my Daffodil Delight. Now it is my Stampin' Blend and it is my dark one. That's right, I thought it was my dark one. So I'm just going to colour on my bird. I'm just going to colour the little bit here. Just going to colour him like that. So he's going to be like that, and a little bit here on his back, just to make him a little bit more colourful than just brown. And the yellow really pops against the brown, so I'm just going to bring him in. And his wife, pair of lovebirds. Oh, that little bit there. That's it. Okay, so they're my two birds. So before I glue them together, I'm going to keep seeing and position these. So I'm going to position my birds so that maybe one's going to go underneath. I might have one underneath, or am I going to have them both underneath? Let's have a look. Do I want them both underneath? Let me see. I'm just going to pop that on there. I think I'm going to put them both underneath. So I'm going to use some foam tape and lift up my bird's nest to start with. So my bird's nest, I'll pop these in the middle, I think. And then I'm going to pop this bird on here. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue onto my bird's nest. So I've popped a little bit of glue onto my bird's nest. I'm going to pop this bird there like that. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to pop it right on the end. Pop a little bit of glue there. And this bird can go there like that. Now I've got to make sure that they fit all right. So I'm going to have to lean this one a little bit more up like that, so that it doesn't touch, because I'm looking to make sure it doesn't touch the edge. So I'm going to pop him maybe more like that. Okay, let's see, a bit like that. So it'll have to be like that, so they almost touch in there. I think I'll have them like that. So now, once I've got them in position, I'm going to, remember I've glued them to my bird's nest. I am then going to put dimensionals, so that, or foam tape, so that it goes partially on the bird's nest and part on the bird. That will make sure that the bird stays in place, and it will also give the dimension to the bird. Now to support it fully, I'm going to put a little bit more up near its head, and a little bit more up near that bird's head. So I can pull off all now my backing tape and see where abouts this goes. Okay, just one more. See, hopefully that's kept in the right place. And then again, I'm going to just position this by, I'm going to put it a little bit on the sun, making sure that they're in there like that. And then the bird will come like that. So far I quite like that. I can now, because I've finished inside, I can now glue the two pieces together. So this bit here, I'm going to glue, but make sure I've got plenty of glue going down either side. Okay, and pop these on top. So just make sure that when you do this, that you hold it up and making sure that it goes flush end to end, and it's flush up and down. Okay, so end to end and there as well, and do the same with the other side. So we're going to position this so it's got the right end to end and the right there, and just pull that down, and then this bends in a bit more, and that will bend in like that. Oops. And just pull that in a bit. There we go, just crease it a little bit more, push that in, have that going on the back there, just crease it a little bit more, just so that it gives it a more rigid when it stands up. So there's the birds in their little sunset going off. And now I have got some extra bit left, so I'm wondering whether I want to put some more foliage. So I'm just going to run this through my die cutting machine. So I'm going to get as much out of this little bit as I can, so working about where's the best area to get as much as I can. It's about there. So I'm going to bring my die cutting machine back in again and cut some foliage out of the one that I've just made, the colour I've just made. So go there. I don't know whether you can, I'll just move this in focus for you. So just positioning this in the best place to get the most foliage out of it. Okay, about there. So I'll pop my plate on top, send it through the die cutting machine. Okay, so that's those couple of pieces. Let's see if we can do any more. Let's see if we can run it through and get a little bit more. See whether we got anything. Can perhaps get a piece through like that. So I'm going to look at that piece. Let's position it so that that goes maximum on there. Whoops, it slipped, so let me just get it up on here. I see it absolutely slipped then, and I didn't stick my washi tape, I've left it in the dies, so I'm just gonna pop that on there and run it through. Okay, so that's a bit of few leaves there, and there's a few sprigs of leaf on this as well. So just pop those out of the way again. So pop that out of my way, and we're going to see, I had a little bit of the top of the pineapple left, and do I want this in or not? I think it's a bit too dark, so it doesn't blend with the rest, so I'm not going to use that now. So I'm going to stick a few of these, and I don't want them to be, I want them to be floppy, so I'm going to stick this down so that it'll move into the viewing area, so that will bend down towards my birds. So as you see, it's giving more dimension. And again, I've got a little bit here, just putting glue on the end bits. I'm gonna pop that in again to hopefully give that little bit of dimension there, and just going to stick a little bit on here and pop that up in the centre. Whoops. Oh, excuse me, I've got sneezes. Try again. I'm just giving it a little bit of added dimension there. Okay, so you can see that so far. Thank you, Patricia. So now we want to stick our sentiment on here, and I'm going to use the, sorry for wobbling the camera, I'm going to use one of the tags that come with it, the labels that come with it. I'm just going to push this out of the way because I am going to make sure that I am using my spongy surface for this, and the sentiments I want from this set I made my little box. So I'm going to put "You Are Loved" again. So it's my favourite sentiment at the moment. So I'm going to have "You Are Loved." I'm going to mount that up on my block. And I think I'm going to stick this on with the Granny Apple Green. Give it a bit of colour to go with the Millie foliage. This should be a bit deeper on here, so just make sure that this is well inked up. Okay, I'm just going to make sure this is about in the centre. Top and bottom, hopefully it's okay. I'm just going to press down and hold, and then just take it up. Beautiful. And there is my sentiment that I'm going to put on. And again, I'm going to put this on with foam tapes. So don't forget, you get the minis in with the kit. So I'm just choosing to save my minis because I so love the minis. I want to make sure that I've got plenty for other projects, because minis come in really handy sometimes. So I'm just going to cut these foam tapes to go on the back of my "You Are Loved." And we've got some lovely little sequins in the kit. So I'm going to get some of my sequins out. Peel these off. There we go. And just pop this flat for the moment so I can see where the centre is. And put it roughly in the centre, just up a little bit from the bottom. And then these little sequins, what have I done with them? Well, they were here a minute ago, so they're on the table somewhere. Oh yes, I got them out. So I'm just going to use the little ones, because there's some big ones and little ones, and I'm going to use the littler ones. The fairly flat, so again, nice for flatter mail. So, pick one out to go on my "You Are Loved." So I'll have another one on the other side. There we go. And I'm going to put one up there. So it's better to have three on, so there we go. So that is a pretty card, making your own kind of DSP, and I think that I'm really pleased with the effect that I've got on the card base that I did. It really fits in very well if you see like the patterning on the sun and the lemons. I think that what I've actually done with the swirls in and out, I think that's fitting really well, and actually getting the green in the right place. I'm really thrilled with that actually. So I hope you liked it too. It's just a simple card that could be for a Valentine's. I just really, on these card bases that have the sunshine, if you saw the other one that I had with the sale home set that I did, I don't want to cover all that gold up, because in the kit it shows you, because you get full instructions of how to make the cards, and that's the sunshine card that I've used for this one, and you cover the gold up, and I just can't bear to cover all the gold up when it's so beautiful and shiny and you're covering it up. So it just didn't sit well with me. So I thought, no, it's got to show. Somehow it's got to show. So with me cutting out I want to say wheel, but I know it's not called that on a ship. I can't think what it's called. That they steer with, like the rudders with. Can't think. Helm. I think that's what it's called, isn't it? Helm. Then I cut that out with it to use on that other project, but it left me a hole in the sun, which then fits beautifully with putting it over and allowing the gold to shine through. So I'm really, really pleased with that. And I really like the card myself, so it's always good when you make something and you like it yourself. Thank you very much for dropping by and watching today. I'll be back with more crafty goodness tomorrow. Stay safe, stay well. Thank you. Bye.